Good afternoon and welcome to the Department of Communication Studies DCS POP broadcast, and that POP stands for Products of Perfection. I'm your host for today, Amoy Harriet, and I'm joined here by my co-host Terrene Wright. How are you, Terrene?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. All right, Terrene, I want you to tell our listeners and viewers what we have in store for them today.
Okay, so today we're going to be having some conversations with some past products of DCS, and by past products I mean past graduates. And you'll also be hearing how you can join the DCS family if you're interested. And of course, last but not least, we have prizes here for you to win.
Prizes and surprises, yes, so you want to stay tuned. Now, our theme for today is a blast from the past to fuel our future.
Yes, and we are live here on NCU FM as well as on our DCS NCU TV or NCU DCS TV YouTube channel.
Wonderful. Now, in the interest of time, we're going to dive right into our program for today. And our first guest joining us right now is a past graduate of NCU, Clement Reed. Now, Clement is going to be joining us on Zoom for this interview. Who is Clement? For those of you who do not know, Clement is a 25-year-old broadcast journalist at IRE FM. He is also a freelancer at Mandeville Weekly and a part-time graphic designer. And Clement also does photography from time to time. Now, he is a lover of the arts and is passionate about youth development and upliftment. Clement, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
Hi, Amoy. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly. Thank you so much. You good? What's going good for you, Clement? How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I haven't seen you in a while.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Glad to see you that you're blossoming into a good media practitioner and a good broadcast journalist. And also saying hello to Terrene and the entire DCS family. I've been at Mandeville, Manchester in a while, but you know, the love is here. And
yes.
The love never dies.
Absolutely.
And, glad to be here and to present to my fellow DCSs, if that's even a word.
Well, of course, it's a word, man. Big up all the DCSs. All right, Clement, let's just jump right into it. How has DCS molded you to being the journalist that you are today?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that the enthusiasm that exists in the department is contagious, or was contagious in my time. And you know, I was with persons such as Casey Williams, you know, Susan Ray, and I think the energy that's in the department of wanting to be good media practitioners, of wanting to be excellent in the job and in preparing for the working world, it definitely had an impact on me. And whereas I was able to be at NCU FM, Hilltop Trumpet, and so on. And so that definitely gave me the experience, gave me the drive that I needed at that time to prepare myself for the position that I am at right now.
All right, that's wonderful. Now, during your time here in DCS, did you ever publish any piece, whether it's a story, any form of piece? What was it? And tell us a little bit about what it was and how that experience was for you.
Well, I published a few. As I would have mentioned, I was at...
Tell me a favorite one. Tell me a favorite one.
Favorite? I think my favorite one would be a piece I published in Mandeville Weekly about shortage of beds at the Mandeville Regional Hospital. I think that had probably one of the greater impacts to my audience, which would have been the Manchester residents and so on. And I think that was the time where I realized, okay, I'm actually doing what I wanted to do as a child. It was coupled with the feeling of accomplishment as well as the feeling of, you know, reality. So now you're here, now you're on the big sea, now persons are reading your stories, persons are listening to you on the radio, and your name is going out there.
Yes.
Now it's about ensuring that what you're saying makes sense, what you're saying is credible, and so that when you speak, persons can actually listen or want to listen and actually can quote you saying something and it holds weight and substance. And so even though I was happy to know that, yes, a dream has come through, you have to also take a check and ensure that what you're doing, you maintain your reputation, and so that you can have a wonderful career.
Absolutely, that is wonderful, Clement. Now, for myself in DCS pursuing journalism, and we have a lot of other students who are currently pursuing journalism. What advice do you have for us as journalism students?
Well, I think the first thing I would say is to start practicing. You know, ensure that you're writing stories and ensure that you're interacting with persons, especially in your department, because the media landscape is about connections. You know, you can get a story. You can be in Westland and you get a story in Trelawney because you know someone who's in Trelawney, and you know. So it's about connecting. It's about getting the practice. Yeah, it's about getting the experience. I think one of the major aspects of my tenure at NC was about being able to get the experience so that it could mold me, so that it could allow me to be less timid when I actually went into the working world. I could have an idea, an understanding of what I'm expected to do as a journalist. And you know, because I think students tend to, and I was guilty of that as well, being nervous while doing an interview. So what I would say is that develop an attitude of research, develop an attitude of following what's going on in the news. And you can start with local news. However, you know, you can also branch off into international news, and being able to have an idea of what's happening in the world. One of the strongest things about a journalist is being able to know what you're saying, being able to contextualize things. And because one of our top journalists we say is Dion Jackson Miller, and one of the attributes that Dion has is being able to relate or allude to things that would have passed and connecting it to things now. And so what you wanted as a journalist is being able to have an idea of everything, you know, little things, so you can engage in different conversations, and so that persons can actually rely on you to give them credible information.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the things I would say that you should do right now while you're at college to prepare you for the working world.
Word from the wise, and I'm sure that even other students who aren't specifically doing journalism can in some way apply that to their life. Now, unfortunately, Clement, we don't have enough time today. We'd love to speak to you a bit more, but we do want to thank you so much for joining us, you know, taking the time out to come and share with our students at this very DCS Pop broadcast. Thank you so much, Clement.
Thank you, and do continue doing what you're doing, and until next time.
Until next time. Thank you so much, Clement. Now, Terrain, I think it's time for us to give the viewers and the listeners a little bit of something, because earlier we mentioned that we're doing giveaways today.
Yes, that's right. And we have a little giveaway for you guys here. And, you know, I hope they would have been paying attention.
Yes,
and
I hope.
Listening keenly. So, the first question for our first giveaway is very simple. Very simple. What is the theme for our outside broadcast today, or for this segment, DCS
Yes. All right, so of course you want to drop your responses in our YouTube chat. If you've been paying attention, then I'm pretty sure you would have had the answer for that one. So ensure that you send your responses to our YouTube chat. We will be announcing the winner very, very shortly. Now, while our viewers are responding, we are going to be hearing from someone else right about now, Terrain. And this person, he is a past graduate of DCS as well, and his emphasis was public relations. And I speak of no other than Dante Matthews. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us today, but he did prepare a video for us, so let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Dante Matthews. I'm a graduate of the Northern Caribbean University. I'm a product of the Department of Communication Studies. I emphasized in public relations, and I currently work in the radio department at the Jamaica Information Service as a writer, producer, presenter. Now, bear in mind that the Jamaica Information Service is the government's public relations entity. And so I just want to say thank you for having me for this virtual outside broadcast. And I'm just going to answer a few questions. So the first one is, how has DCS shaped your understanding of branding and brand management? Now, with branding and brand management, it is important to note that your target audience is very important. Who are you targeting for your product or your service? That's important. And also create a unique value proposition and have a marketing plan as well. How am I going to market my product or service to my target audience? What makes my brand unique? So always important to think about those when you're thinking about branding and the brand management. What skills did you acquire from DCS that assisted you in executing campaigns? Now, the beauty about the Department of Communication Studies is that when you are exposed to different courses, you get a feel of everything. So I emphasize in public relations, but I learned a little about radio, a little about TV, journalism, advertising. And so when you go into the working world, I know that in PR, because I have to work along with the PR officers at the JIS, you have to know how to do scripts, you have to know how to develop a PSA, a commercial. If it's a drama that the client wants, you have to know a little about everything so you can propose the content to the clients. And so DCS has taught me about all that it takes to execute campaigns and work in the media industry and the PR and communications industry. What was the most difficult public relations campaign and how did you overcome it? So I wouldn't say difficult, but one of the things that happens when we're dealing with clients is that after you write a script or you propose certain content and you send it to them, sometimes the turnaround time can be, well, not turnaround time, but sometimes the reply from them can take a while, and sometimes you write and they have edits and they don't want it this way, they want it another way, and then you have to go back to the drawing board because they are your clients and you have to suit them. And so sometimes the back and forth with the client is sometimes a little tedious because you have to ensure that you give them what they want because they're paying for the public education campaign or the public relations campaign to get their message out. And so, for example, I might do a PSA and send it to them. They may not like a certain line, so they change it, send it back to you, you voice it, you send it to them. They may not like the tone that you use, so you have to revoice it and stuff like that. And so there are different roadblocks when it comes to dealing with clients, and it in the end it's for their brand, and they want their brand to stand out and they want their message to be clear, and so you just have to work with them. And so those are my responses to the 3 questions. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much. That was Mr. Dante Matthews, one of the many products of perfection from the Department of Communication Studies. It was so wonderful to hear from Dante. Now, right about now, let's announce the winner for our giveaway. Terrain, what do you say?
Yes. I'm sure the persons are excited.
No, the first person who gave the correct answer to our question was Donovan Davis. Now, Mr. Davis, we want you to reach out to us on our WhatsApp number, or rather, you know what, our team will reach out to you. Don't worry about it. All right, Donovan. So congratulations. And he is the winner of our first prize.
Giveaway.
Yes. Wonderful.
Wonderful. And we're here talking about past products, and I'm sure our listeners would have been having a good time hearing from our past students. And things can only get better from here, right?
Yes.
So we're now going to jump into our Straight Outta DCS segment.
Straight Outta DCS.
We have some more past students here who are, currently doing big things in the media industry. And we just want to highlight them for you. So
Absolutely.
the first one on our list is actually Janelle Powell.
And coming up after Janelle, we have Adrian Johnson. He is the instant replay operator for live sports at Sportsmax.
And Miss Powell is actually a reporter at CVM.
Wonderful.
Next, we have Suzelle Ray, and she is the research assistant, reporter, and producer at Nationwide News Network.
All right, and now we also have Nicoy Wilson. He is previously employed at the Gleaner, and he is the 2016-2017 Burgundy jacket holder.
And we also have Ricardo Campbell, who was previously employed at Mellow FM.
And after him, we have Andrew Forsyth. He is a production officer at NCU Media Group.
Yes. So, Amoy, I heard that you would have done an interview recently with Mr. Anthony Lugg.
Yes.
Right? And I believe he graduated in 2016 and he gained his work experience at TVJ and Prism Marketing.
It was a wonderful interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look.
Anthony Lugg, news reporter and producer at Television Jamaica.
All right, Anthony, what was your journey like in DCS?
My journey at DCS was a very interesting one. I say this because when I first became a part of the DCS family, I was just a musician trying to learn a little bit of everything. So PR, radio, TV, you name it. Through my courses in second year, I would have developed a love for radio broadcasting. But by the time I finished my studies here, I would have gotten a new love for TV, which all that was developed through my experience doing internship.
All right, what are some of the traits you learned in DCS that you transferred into the working world?
No, I learned so many traits during my time here at DCS, but the importance of teamwork has stuck with me. No, all this was learned through a course called Group Dynamics and Leadership. This course was instrumental to my development because it assisted me in resolving conflicts when they arise, identifying a leader, and simple stuff like identifying each person's strength and weakness. And these and much more are what I learned while I was here at DCS.
What advice do you give to students that are in their first year in the Department of Communication Studies?
No, the advice to students, as cliche as it might sound, don't follow the crowd. There are a lot of persons that you call friends and even your classmates that just come along to distract you from the goal. Don't follow the crowd, stick to it, remain focused, and trust me, you can achieve whatever it is you put your mind to.
Where can you find you on the different social media platforms?
I can be found on Instagram at LUGG_Anthony, so that's lug_Anthony, and on Twitter, it's LUG_Anthony.
All right, so we would have just heard from Mr. Anthony Lugg, and he said a mouthful, Amoy. And he mentioned two things that I wanted to highlight. He said that he was a musician trying to learn everything. And, he made the right decision coming to DCS because that's where you can learn everything.
Exactly.
Basically. So he made a right choice right there. And he also mentioned that he initially started off loving radio broadcasting, but later grew to love television production. And as you can see, no, he's a reporter at TVJ. So it goes to show that, you might have something that you're interested in initially, and then you find that upon becoming a part of DCS and learning and growing, you find that you develop a new passion.
Yeah, the thing about DCS, they mold you in such a way where you can do anything. So if later on you decide to change, your focus, you're very fully equipped to handle that new field that you're taking on.
That's right. So,
absolutely.
Amoy, I think it's time for another giveaway.
Yes, they have to be giving prizes and surprises.
Yes, I'm sure our viewers and listeners are very excited. And, of course, this giveaway is for the persons who are listening online, on NCFM rather, and we want you to message your answer to the NCFM WhatsApp number at 1-876-403-5426. Now, the question for this giveaway is actually, name two persons that were featured in the Straight Outta DCS segment. And I hope they would have been listening because we've named quite a few of them.
Absolutely. That's 876-403-5426. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so much more on the other side of this break, so you do not want to go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, so welcome back. And our next guest is a very passionate person. She loves impacting lives positively through encouraging, educating, inspiring, and empowering messages. She graduated in 2011 and her emphasis was radio. She is currently working at Jamaica Information Service, JIS, as a writer, producer, and presenter. How are you, Mrs. Anjui James Sawyers? All right. Ms. Sawyers, how are you doing today?
Hi, Terrain. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we're just going to jump right into our interview. And the first question I have for you is there such a thing as a radio voice, or would you say you developed your radio voice while at DCS?
The answer to that question is yes, there is such a thing as a radio voice. And I also have been developing my radio voice, so I continue to learn how to do that actually. I'm a lifelong learner, so of course I always seek to be in a state of mind of always learning. So generally speaking, when you talk about a radio voice, it's actually a mixture of presentation. So it's almost like a formal kind of presentation, but at the same time sounding conversational.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's important that that balance is struck because you're communicating, you're sharing a message, and it also should sound like you're communicating with the listener.
Yes, that is so true, because you want to keep the attention of your audience as best as possible. So I agree with you with that one. So the second question that I have for you is, tell us one key thing that you learned in DCS that has helped you as a radio broadcaster.
All right. So the one thing I've chosen, because it's a lot of things that I've learned. There are so many things I learned while I was studying at NCU. But one of the things I've decided to share today is that of humility. And it's all encompassing. So it's an attitude that is required on the job. And it's also very important because you will meet persons of notoriety. And after a while, you can feel that you have arrived, but then there's also the fact that there are persons who are around you who you can learn from. So you should make sure that you maintain the spirit of humility so that you can learn from others, because there are persons who have strength that you may not have, and they can help you. And we are always going to be required to work in a team. So humility is essential.
I agree with you 100%, Ms. Sawyers. And for a final question I have for you is, what do you think is unique about DCS that separates it from other media and communications department at other institutions?
Let me tell you. Okay, I'm going to dive back a little. So there is no doubt that NCU is rated very highly, and the DCS program is highly respected. I've spoken with several colleagues, and over during these conversations, I realized that the DCS program gives us a lot of hands-on experience, and I like the direction that the DCS is going in right now, because although I worked directly with the media arm of the university, which was NCU Media Services at the time, it's now the Northern Caribbean University Media Group. The DCS department in and of itself allows students to get hands-on experience, and what we're doing here is actually a representation of that. So the students are able to hone their skills outside of the classroom, and we are always encouraged to not just be concerned about the special area that we're interested in, but to learn everything that we can about the other parts that make up the production. So because of that, we are usually able to fit into and to perform very well in whatever area it is that we decide that we want to venture into.
Yes, that's so true. And you know, the stuff that you learn here at DCS, it allows you to be very marketable because the skill set you would have gained is very transferable. You can fit in practically anywhere. And you know, that's one of the things that I myself love about DCS. And I'm proud to be a member of DCS. So I want to thank you for joining us, Mrs. Andrea James Sawyers, you know, another product of DCS. And if you are just joining us, we're here on our outside broadcast, DCS Products of Perfection, POP, under the theme, A Blast from the Past to Fuel Our Future.
It's wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. Now, before we even go any further, I think it's time for another giveaway. But just before we announce that question, our previous giveaway for the question that we previously asked, that winner was Siobhan Chisholm. So congratulations to you, Siobhan. Now, right now, the next question for our next giveaway is, what was the name of our first guest? Now, I want you to type your answers in our YouTube chat, or for those of you who are listening via radio, you can send your responses to our WhatsApp number again, 403-5426. We want to hear from you because we have some prizes that we want to give you.
Yes, Amoy. And you know, while you guys are submitting your answers, we're going to be hearing from a very special young woman, and is a very close friend of mine. And I speak none other than Roxanne White, who is our female burgundy jacket holder for the academic year 2021-2022. Let's take a look.
I'm Roxanne White, female burgundy jacket holder for the Department of Communication Studies 2021-2022, and I am here to tell you why you should choose DCS. Being in DCS makes you an all-rounded individual. You are exposed to areas of public relations, television, radio, and journalism. Also, with the various productions that are done in the department, you have an opportunity to gain experience long before you ever go into the work world. What can you do with a communications degree? Many things, because communication transcends all walks of life. You can become a sales and marketing officer. You can become a radio host, a producer. You can even go out and start your own business in photography or videography. You can become a voiceover artist. The options are endless. If you are someone you know wants to become a member of the DCS family, it's pretty simple. The simplest way is to make use of the information that can be accessed on the NCU website at ncu.edu.jm. When you go on that website and you navigate the pages and click on the Department of Communication Studies, you can find all the information there. You can also talk to an officer from recruitment and admissions in their live chat, and they will direct you to exactly where you need to go. We're talking about DCS, developing talent, building a nation.
All right, so you know, we'd have just heard from our female burgundy jacket holder who told you some of the good reasons why you should try to become a member of our family here at DCS.
Absolutely.
And of course, Amoy, we're going to be announcing the winner of our last giveaway at a later time.
Right, absolutely. No, unfortunately, Terrain, it looks like we have come to the end of today's program. So sad, because they always say time flies when you're having fun, and that is absolutely true. Yes. Definitely. But of course, I think that this was something very, very great. And so we have to give a big, big shout out to every single individual who would have participated and contributed to this being the great production that it was. So we're going to start calling name, because we need to call name, you know.
Yes, man.
Yeah, man, let's call name. So our producer and our floor manager, Cherise Taylor.
Yes, big up Cherise all the time. And we have our director and producer's assistant, Mr. Teja Cook.
We also have our general manager and radio audio engineer, Donase Fletcher Robertson.
And we have our camera operators, Mr. Shane Wigan and Mr. Jira Cunningham.
We have our on-location audio engineer, Zachary Ross.
And our graphics operator, Miss Shari Lewis.
And also our social media manager and troubleshooter, Crystal Gale.
And our sales and marketing team consisting of myself and once again Crystal Gale, Miss Donna Say Fletcher Robinson, and Miss Kamoya Davis.
Yes, and what an outside broadcast it has been. Ladies and gentlemen,
Definitely.
DCS Pop Broadcast. What was the pop stand for again, Terry?
Products of Perfection.
Products of Perfection. Now, until next time, because we have to come back again, you know. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I am Amoy Harriet.
And I am Terrene Wright.
Good evening.